Hey friends, hope you're having a great day today. We are on week 18 of 52 weeks to our home being organized. If you've been here since the beginning, like awesome for you. Just think you are almost, we got a little bit more till halfway there. But we're almost there. You have stuck through it. So give yourself a little pat on the back because like you've gone through your stuff. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So today we're going to continue working on our office area. So last week we kind of went through and kind of cleaned out the drawers, cleaned up the clutter if you have any. I don't know, do you have a lot? You might have more. You may have more that you have to go through today. So it depends on how big it is, how much you've got. That's the key to this, is just doing it and it's getting it done and just going through it, being consistent. Because you know what, by the end of this year or middle of next year, you're gonna go, wow, look at all that I've accomplished in my home. And that is a beautiful thing. If you want to work ahead in our series, you can get my book. It's linked below. It just supports my channel. We're gonna be doing this every single week, so you're not gonna miss out if you don't get the book. That is completely fine. But if you wanna get the book, it kind of goes through and gives you a checklist and a few little extra insights and things to help you look ahead. Maybe go through and cross off the ones you've done and go, okay, I can do this, or I don't need to do that, or I can watch this week or not this week, whatever it wants to be in your home. But if you would like that, that is linked below in the description box below, and thank you for those that have gotten that to support my channel and what I do here. So this week we're starting on the paper clutter. I don't know what your paper clutter looks like or where it's at in your home, but that is what your focus is going to be today. So everybody's going to look a little bit different. Back in the day, I would keep every single piece of paper in a big old pile. My mom had the mentality, she's not living anymore, of keeping everything, because you never know if you're going to need it. So I would keep all of my phone bills, all the electrical bills, all those things. And then like things started becoming digital and online, and I'm like, why do I need to hold on to all these things still? So for myself, you are gonna have to use your own discretion at what you feel comfortable doing. If you do not feel comfortable getting rid of all your stuff, then don't do as I tell you. You do what you feel comfortable doing. Everyone's gotta be like comfortable with their stuff. Do you know what I mean? And so for myself, I like to have way less and keep the very minimal that I need, because I don't like to hold on to tons of stuff. I know my mom passed. I was cleaning up her office to help my dad out with things, and I was going through paperwork after paperwork. Oh my goodness, she had everything. She kept every receipt, like literally receipts, store receipts and everything for like her whole entire marriage. It was going back to the 70s. I was like, oh my goodness, she kept everything. She had it all organized and everything. I was like, that right there is awesome. Now me, my whole life is right here in these drawers of what I need to keep, and everything's online as well. So everybody's gonna be a little bit different at what you think is important to keep in your home. And so this is gonna take you some time. I know when I did mine, I did my tax time this year, so I've gone through everything and kind of laid it all out. Got what I gotta keep, go through things, but we'll go through it. I'll walk you through it today, and then we can do this together. So beforehand, if you don't feel comfortable throwing your stuff in your garbage can and throwing it out to the road, there are some cities, I know, like more like I'm gonna say bigger cities, not doesn't have to be a big city, but check and see if your city does a free shredding program. You might be able to find a place that if you don't feel comfortable throwing documents in the trash, you can get it shredded at your, like sometimes they have like free shredding days. I've seen that. I've never even heard of that until I heard about it in the mountains, and I heard about it here, and I'm like, oh, they actually do that. That's pretty good. So however you feel, you do yours. For me, I don't keep a lot of my stuff because everything is online and digital. So if I need something, I can just go online and get it. I get that the whole power grid gets shut down and not have that record, but you're gonna have to do what you want to do in your home to feel confident with yourself. So in mine, this is all the paperwork that I have to even worry about for my life. We've gone through, like I have, we have papers and things, but these are not used ones. These are gonna be the receipts, things like that. So what I keep in my little drawers here is I have I keep these right here. These are my kids' journals. Now I only have 4 that I'm writing in still, but what I do with these are a little record of my kids' life. So some people would do like a baby book for their kids. Now I started that with my older ones, and then realized that after a while it was kind of like we really didn't have much money, so it was like to spend that $25 in a book that I would fill in for the whole next 5 years, it was just not worth it getting it for myself. So I kind of stopped doing that, but I still wanted to have some kind of record, because I know my mom would write little notes and keep them in like her little, just find a different place in her house. And I'm like, that is so cool that you wrote about that in my time in my life. And so I did start writing for my kids on my computer. I did little journals on there, and then computers crashed, and this is way back before everybody had a computer and phones. And so then I'm like, what if we don't have a computer one day? So how would I keep up on this? So then I started going to good old school paper. So get these for 10 cents when the school year comes around. And what I would do is write little things to my kids in here. So I have, like, this one is Madeline's here. So if you look at Madeline's, these are old, they're very old. This is when she was born. So I put her birthday at the top, put how much she weighed, her name, all that. And I just put, you are here, what a surprise. I thought for sure you were going to be a boy. Even thought your name clicked right away, but I had a dream and it was a girl. So excellent birth and delivery. Haven't said that for many of them, put a smiley face. I told her what we did, very manageable, 2 pushes, you were out, feel wonderful, no pain, you were so very content. Red hair like your big sister Jaden, so cute and tiny. We love you, can't wait to bring you home. So that was like her first entry into life. And so then I tried to do it every once in a while. Her first month, I literally just wrote the date and wrote her what her measurements were. The doctors, as you can see, life was probably a little bit busy because she would have been number 9, and so life would have got really busy at that time. And so then, you know, you write a little bit more. So I wrote about when she was 5 months old, and so I started writing just little things. You just write neat little things about what they do, you know, fun things they say. Did I do it every single month? No. When she was 18 months old, I read a few things, and then when she was a little bit older, you know, she had a little kitty cat and she was little, and she called her Black Kitty. That was her name. That's how kids get, you know, they don't really name names, they just name the color of the kitty cat. And so I said, she's got Kitty outside, you love little kitty cat and you love playing with them. And then I write more and more, a little bit more about things that she does. And as she got a little bit older, I wrote and have, like, when they, you know, they have opinions about things, I would do like lists in here. And so what I would do, I was trying to find one here, I would write down like their favorites, and so I'd make a list. They also drew a picture on here too. I would put like your favorite, what are my favorites on here? Did we not do favorites? I have one in here somewhere, I found it. Okay, so it has like her favorites. So I write down on this one, I put her favorite breakfast, favorite lunch, favorite dinner, favorite snack, dessert, board game, digital game, favorite toy, inside activity, outside activity, favorite season, holiday, favorite name, she said herself, favorite clothes, favorite subject, favorite restaurant, if you could do anything for a day. I love it. It says sing for the whole world, and so it's beautiful because she does sing beautifully now. And if she could buy anything she wanted, she'd buy a horse. I don't know if she still want a horse or not. She may. So just different things, you know. And then as they got a little bit older, I would ask them other questions like, when are you happiest? People think I am. I think I am. What I wish for the most. And so just neat little book reminders. And then as they got a little bit older, they wrote some notes to themselves. And I started even doing things like 5 things you're grateful or thankful for right now. Dream list to do before adulthood. Write your name. This or that. I did that this year. This or that, like an early bird or night owl. Do you like sweet or salty? Do you like the beach or the mountains? Do you like cats or dogs? Do you like texting or calling? Do you like sneakers or sandals? Pizza or tacos? Just different things that one thing I hope for happens this year, a place I love to visit. In 5 years, I hope I am, something I want to learn to get better at. So just a neat little thing that they can have. So I kind of, when they hit about 18, and they're pretty much, oops, these come out of hers. I think these are hers. Somebody's came out here, I'm not sure whose these are. Somebody wrote on here, I'm watching you. Someone wrote, I'm watching you. I'm not sure who's there. I was about to keep those right here. But when they hit about 18 years old and they kind of, you know, like by the time that time, even when they're 16, 17, they kind of are on their own. They become like an adulthood. They enter adulthood. I kind of don't do anymore. I write, you know, sometimes I write prayers to them, you know, in their books. And so usually at the very end, I usually write like a final closing prayer. Not all of them, mind you, but the last few ones, wrote a little closing prayer to them. And just, you know, my prayer for them over their life. And then these ones are the final 4 that I have to do. So those are in here. So that's just Maddie, Jensen, Stephen, and Autumn, because they're my last little ones in here. And then we've got all of our paperwork right here. So I got these, I don't know, we cleaned this out a few months ago. So I've got these. The only thing I keep in my file folders that I hold on to is, I hold on to their birth certificates, obviously, and social security cards. Since we live in Florida now, we have hurricanes. I keep this in here because last year we actually had Hurricane Milton, which was, you know, pretty treacherous for the area, and we really had no idea what it was going to do to our area, but they definitely had to be prepared. So I keep all of our, like our marriage certificate in here. I keep birth certificate, social security cards, things like that in here, things that I need, insurance policy in here, but that's it. Everything else can be replaced. I don't even worry about keeping anything else. So these are what's important and what I do need. So this I do keep, and I just kept it in the bag, and I thought I'll pull it out next year and pack it in my go-to bag if we have to leave again. So if we have to leave, not again, leave at all. So I have that, and then I also have a section for the kids, like their school records that I have to keep in here for vaccines, immunizations, and any warranties. What I do is every year at tax time, I go through, you know, you buy like an electronic product or something like that at the store, and you buy your warranty with it. If you do, I go through and make sure that it hasn't been expired. If it has, then I throw it away. Keep only the ones you want to keep. So I have that in here. Any kind of car stuff in here, any bank information, like, you know, when you first set up your bank, you know, they give you like the checks that you're never going to use. Like I keep those. And then some stuff here I got for Greg's things. So those are what I keep in here. And then what I do is I keep my taxes in here. So now for my taxes, now everybody is going to do different, and everybody's going to have a different opinion. Back in the day, it used to be keep 7 years of taxes. The way that I do it now, I keep 3 years of taxes. That's it. That's it. I know some people will agree differently, and that is okay, whatever you want to do. So for me, I keep them all right here. I just started putting them in this folder right here, so they're looking a little messy right now because I had to shove. They were in a big giant container. I would just wrap it up and put a rubber band around it. So as I do them the next coming years, they'll be nice and neat in here. But as of right now, they're just kind of like 2024 is kind of nice and neat. 2023 is looking a little messy, so that's kind of like thrown in here and bent over because I did not want to fix all those papers. So I'm like, that's okay, because as the next year comes and I do the next year's taxes, I'll take out the old ones and throw those in to replace them. So those I keep in here. Any new receipts, I keep in here as well. I used to put them separate in a drawer when I got them, but now I keep them in here. So everything is in here nice and neat, so I know where it's at. That's how I do mine. Some people do them where they're, you know, they do them and then they get the receipts, they write everything down when they do it. I don't. I just like to do it all at one time. That's just the way I work. I like to take them all out when it's tax time and lay them all out, separate them according to what I got to do, and then do it that way. That's just me personally. And then, like I said, I don't keep, I know I've done taxes enough that I know what kind of documents to keep. There's some years I save things and then the next year I go, oh, I forget, I don't need to keep those receipts because we can't do that part or whatever. And so then I realize, okay, don't keep them. So it's just, but sometimes I falter and forget, but I know like through the year, oh yeah, I don't have to worry about that, but I do have to worry about that. So getting better as time goes on. And then the other ones we have in here are just like our appliance records, our house papers, things like that. And so that's, when we moved into the house, they kept a lot of the books for the house and they gave them to us, which was awesome. And so I have that back there. And then if we do upgrade something or get rid of something, I try to go through that and throw the old ones out so we have the new ones. So that is going to be your goal today, is going through your papers. It's going to take you some time. Don't take my advice, you take your own advice of what you feel comfortable doing in your home. But if you got to lay it all out, kind of go through it. But pretty much all of it's like people keep their electrical receipts. I mean, again, it depends on what you need. If you need them for taxes and you have to physically take something into an accountant or something, then maybe you should keep all them. But if you don't, you're just a regular person that files regular taxes, you don't really need to keep all of your electrical records for your house. You don't have to. Things like that, all your store receipts, you don't need all your store receipts, but if you do, you go ahead and keep those. And so get yourself a good filing system if you keep a lot of things. And so just the simple file folders, label them all, line them all up, you'll have everything. You'll be glad that you did. And then just make piles of them, put your pitch pile, your keep pile, and your file away pile. This takes time to do, but once it's done, you're glad that you have it done. I know for myself, we used to have it in like a little plastic, like I have it in here just a little bit bigger because I have this cabinet in here for my office for things to sit on, but we did just have like a plastic, it was like a file folder, and they had like a top that went over it, hooked together with like this rubber band stringy thing, like an accordion style one. That worked good. I had that for a long time. It doesn't fit in here, it was too big, and so that I kept all our papers in there, and that was easy just to grab the whole thing if I needed it. But what I found is I kept that, and then I had my taxes and another files, and I put those in another container somewhere else, and that's where I put my warranties that I didn't need, or like household books. And then I had another drawer for where I keep my receipts at. So there was a constant drawers of all this paperwork, and I'm like, okay, I need to consolidate, put this all together. So I was glad to put everything together right in one little area, and it's all right here. So that is going to be your focus today, is your paperwork and going through it. And then also think, if something you don't want to get rid of it, can you digitize it? Is there some way you can take a snapshot of it and keep it that way? That might be helpful. You might not even have paper clutter like this. You might have paper clutter like you keep your kids' art projects. Oh, I know. I've seen where people take pictures of it and then they create a digital collage of their kids' photos. I thought that was a neat thing to do. If you want to hold on to everything, I'm not much of a holder-oner, so I don't have that problem. But if it is, that's something you can do. And so as you do this, it really does create peace. Any kind of weeding out in your life is going to create peace because it's less that you have to deal with in your life. For me, I've got one drawer right here. That's it. But if I had a bunch of little things, it's always a bunch of little things that I got to go through and clean out. So one place, downsize is good. Okay, for a healthy routine, we are going to declutter a space that we've been ignoring for quite some time. Now, I know we are going through our entire home. Once you do that, I feel like you still can get clutter in certain areas. Like my kitchen, it definitely, like my plastic cupboard, is definitely getting cluttered again. And I'm like, so I keep kind of going in there, arranging things a few times over. But for some areas, you're going to get more clutter than that. It just depends on how much you use it. And so for us, right here, it's our shoe cupboard. I don't know what that looks like for you. It might be a drawer, it might be something in your desk, maybe something in your room, maybe closet. I don't know, something you have already done that maybe you kind of have to go back and do it. It's just about kind of keeping up on things and being aware. So like for me today, I know this area is pretty messy. So I'm like, you know what? I need to just kind of go through it real quick. I'm not going to worry about a deep cleaning here. I'm just going to worry about getting it cleaned out today. It only takes a few minutes. And this also might be something that you've gone through and you've kept things in a box you don't know what to do with. Garage, something in the garage, in the basement, you got those areas. Probably a lot of stuff that you keep in there. For us, it's going to be shoes. Shoes and all of that. So we get everybody's shoes in here. Let me take a few minutes to take this out. Now, for us, the only thing that holds in here is Maxine's leash that we take out with her. The extra bag here. We get all our little bags right here for dog mess right here, and do keep pepper spray that we take. I'll put that up there though. And then shoes. So I was just going to go through. I don't like to keep everybody's shoes over here because otherwise it accumulates. Like myself, I like to keep one pair for me, and I realized there's another pair for me. So then I'm like, I need to put those away. But you know what I'm thinking? These ones are a little bit nicer. These ones are a little bit worner. So I think I'm going to use these up. If you leave them out, they get worn out and used. So if I use those, then they'll get bad, and I still have these on hand. But like the kids put their walking shoes over here that they go for walks with, which is fine. These are Brooklyn's. She's not usually here, so hers are going to go up in her room. Greg's, he likes his in his room. The kids just put them away in here. These are, I think, free-for-all shoes that nobody wears, but we got them, so they are going to be in here. I think these are Brooklyn's as well. So we can clean this up. This will get real messy like this, and then like it'll be filled up with shoes. So even though there's just this many shoes right now, it'll be filled up in a week with things because the way things accumulate. I keep my walking shoes over there because I plan to use them. Maxine's like, are we going for a walk today? We not going for a walk. So this, very simple just to go through and clean out. Not too big of a deal, very easy. Pick something in your home today. Just focus on, it's just the healthy routine is about just doing something that's going to benefit your day. Mine is cleaning the shoe cabinet out here. And then for our third one, for our emotional wellness, we're talking this whole month about serving. When you really do take that time to serve others, it makes you feel good. It does something for you because you're taking like the focus off yourself and doing something for someone else, whether it's serving in, I'm talking about serving in church, doing something like that. But today we're gonna be talking about serving and making a meal for somebody else in your home. And so I know when my kids were younger, my older ones were younger at home, and we called our baking day, we called it our baking hospitality day. And so on that day, what we would do is we would always make something extra, like cookies or cinnamon rolls or something like that. And we would take those and we'd make sure that we shared it with like one of our neighbors. We'd walk over and hand them cinnamon rolls or hand them cookies, things like that. It was just our hospitality day, I called it. And it was just making something from the heart to help someone else. And I know they do meal trains, they do all that stuff for new mamas, maybe somebody going through surgery, things like that. But that is a lost art, I feel like is so forgotten in today's world. Now, I get not everybody likes to eat everybody's food, so I understand that. But you can also do something where you really don't have to do a lot of food making. Let's say you're not the best at it. I get it. I understand that. Maybe you can pick up a few extra groceries for a family, and that might be something like picking up some muffins or cookies already at the store, or even just getting some fresh fruit and veggies and taking those to a family. Like, who would not appreciate a watermelon? Who would not appreciate all cut up? Or some apples and oranges, or some bananas or grapes, something like that for a new family, or even someone that's just struggling with things. Like, how much better that makes it feel knowing like, hey, someone thought of me to take the time to do that and just to serve out of your heart for someone. And making a meal is great, but maybe you can just do something small like making some bread, or, there's so much you can do that you don't even need to make anything out of your home. Like, I know some might watch this and go, well, I don't have the money to do that, or I don't have the, resource to be able to do that. Okay, but you could make 10 extra cookies to wrap up and take to your neighbor when you're making some for your family, or when you're baking bread, make 1 extra loaf and take that to your neighbor, or when you're making some food, make 1 extra and freeze it and give that to a new mother in need or something like that. So always something, you get creative with things. It doesn't have to be fancy, it doesn't have to be anything, just a simple thing. I always appreciate. My thought was, I remember I was a new mom for a long time, lots of moms, lots of babies, and I was very grateful and thankful for meals that people brought me. One thing, before they had the sign up list, people would just bring whatever, which is great. We ended up with so much lasagna, because lasagna are people's go-to for meals. I think they feel like lasagna, and everybody makes lasagna different. So we had so many different lasagnas for food. Not a bad thing, but when you're a new mom, and those are your meals for each day, it's a lot of lasagna. So I always opt, when I do that for people, is to get something different that someone would not have. I always pick like a taco nacho bar. So I would get all the toppings and take them all separately. So, take some rice, take some taco meat, take some refried beans, take some tortillas, take some, all the toppings, lettuce, onions, tomatoes, salsa, all those things all cut up, but all separately. So that way, everybody can eat some. And especially my thing was we always had little ones. And so sometimes the little ones didn't like what someone brought. And I get that. But when you're a new mom and you got a new baby, that's the last thing you want to worry about is fighting over meals for dinner. So think simple, easy meals for others. Something like that. Sometimes just the good old basic, it's something they like, kind of stick with that for their family. Or again, check for allergies, things like that for their home. That's just something good. And always take a treat with it as well, and pack something just for fun. And again, if you don't want to do the meal thing, then take something so their lunches are covered. Go get some lunch meat and bread and some snack crackers or chips or something, so she can have an easy lunch the next day for making sandwiches for her family, or whatever it is for your family. There's always something you can find to do. Even a bag of groceries, anything to help stretch is always a blessing. And just know that they aren't forgotten. They're not alone in this thing, that you're there with them. That's a good thing you can do to extend a little bit of peace and gratitude and joy, and to serve someone out of your heart. All right, so this week is our wrap up. We have cleaned out our paperwork. I hope you're going through all that paperwork, getting all that done. You are also going to be cleaning and decluttering an area that you have not done yet, or maybe you have to redo again. Depends on how much stuff you have. And you're going to bless someone's table with a meal, something that you've either made, or maybe something that you purchased. Or if you can't do that, maybe it's just going to be a treat that they can look forward to enjoying in their home. So you're doing amazing. Every week we're working towards that goal of getting our whole house done, and bringing some healthy routines, and getting some emotional wellness balance back in our lives. So you're doing it one step at a time, right? That's how we do things and tackle things hard, just one step at a time to get to where we need. So, all right, you have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you again tomorrow with another video. All right, see ya. Bye.